transracial Black women like myself have a more beautiful understanding of Blackness than cisracial Black women. And that's what I want to talk about today, especially because of all the propaganda nowadays telling Black women to hate themselves. Someone that chooses to present as a Black woman every single day, that's incredibly beautiful. One of the most common questions I've been asked is, are you planning on getting any medical procedures to help affirm your transracial identity, like melanin replacement therapy, things like that? And the answer is no. Trans Black women are Black women, regardless of what our bodies look like. I don't need to change my skin color or my hair or my makeup or any other physical characteristics to prove to you that I am Black. Saying that I need to pass as Black is actually trans race phobia. It is TERF rhetoric, transracial exclusionary feminism. 1 second. Oh, and by the way, free Palestine.
Transracial exclusionary feminism.
My Starbucks identifies as Dunkin'. Inshallah. Shabbat Shalom. All that good stuff. So I do want to educate everyone on what it means to be a Black woman trapped inside a white woman's body, trapped inside an Asian woman's body, which is what I personally.
Black, trapped Asian. Okay.
Am, which means I am both trans Asian and trans Black. Transracial identities are valid. My pronouns, which are currently ni hao, are valid. All identities are valid. So if you are here to actually listen and learn, you can stay. But do not call me white. I do not identify with my race assigned at birth.
In order to get through something like this without completely forgetting everything on your mind, you need a script. And I think she had a script, because that's absolutely beautiful the way that she just put that. And it's something that from the beginning, I mean, we said it. I'll do another video on another video that I saw of this becoming completely unhinged and out of hand, but it has to do with everything that the Christians said would happen is happening. What's the word? Indulge me for a second. But this all started with the homosexuality movement. It started with the whole movement where Christians some decades ago were saying, hey, you guys want to start this movement, the LGB, this movement is not going to end well, because what you guys are now creating is a sexual orientation or a desire for the opposite sex based on identity. I identify as someone who is attracted to the same sex, instead of just saying I like sleeping with men. I identify as someone who sleeps with. And so that ball kept rolling, and then the T got added, and we're like, oh snap, here we go. And it's painful because we see this rolling into something completely unhinged. It was Tropic Thunder that Robert Downey Jr., he decided to play blackface. Now that was a big problem, because Black people are like, you're not allowed to play blackface, you're white. And he played it, and now here we are. This is absolutely crazy. I've seen, like, on the Holy Duo channel, Eddie calls me transracial. And now someone is actually using this to kind of just plainly in the faces of everyone, because if you can say I'm a woman, even though we obviously can tell you're a man, and they're allowing you into professional stages and settings, why can't anyone say anything anymore? Like, who must you be to tell this lady that she really doesn't feel Black? Even if she is joking, the question stands. Oh yeah, like, you're pretending. Is she pretending? Are all of these other men who want to be women pretending? Is every woman who wants to be a man pretending? Like Elliot Page, I forget her name, Elliot, or I forget what she goes by now, but she's fully transitioned into being a man, and she's saying a whole bunch of things about masculinity and stuff. And it's just like, dude, you're not even a man. You wouldn't understand. People forget this. People forget that as a man, what you see as a man today is years and years and years and years and years of hormones and changes happening in your body that make you a certain type of way. One of the good arguments that I found against trans women, which are men who are saying they're women, is you have not suffered a period, menstruation, a day in your life. You have no idea what that's like to go to school and you're sitting in class, and in the middle of your class, you start your time of the month and you had no idea. And you have to suffer that embarrassment. That kind of stuff shapes you. People like to talk down on that kind of experience as though it is something that it's like, oh, it's whatever. You could just brush off and whatever. But people forget those are the types of experiences that shape you. Or a guy, a young man, for the first time in his puberty life, is in the middle of public and gets an erection. And you're like, oh crap, I have this thing that you can clearly see down there that it is standing up, even though it's normal. But as a guy, you don't want people to see that. So you have to figure out a way to, either cross your legs or like put your hands in your pocket and hold it steady. Like, these things are what shape you. These small experiences that apparently are getting thrown out the window are what shapes you. The hormones, the experiences, the social experiences, the private, personal, family experiences, the kind of thoughts that you have, the kind of things that you have to deal with, the temptation that you have to deal with, the ideas that you have. All of that gets thrown out the window because someone says, I identify as your sex or gender. That is completely insane. And I think whatever she's doing, if she actually does feel black, hey, welcome to the family. All right, let's get it. But this points to a bigger problem. When is this going to stop? When is this I feel, therefore I am movement going to stop? Because it needs to stop. It started with homosexuals, went down to transgenders, and then bisexuals, and then now multiple types of identities. It is going to get to a point, and now the NBA is being shoved into a corner to eat the throw up that they've been making people eat for the last couple of decades, really. And it's like, when is this going to stop? This is literally on stage, on the professional stage.
Just because I don't pass as black does not mean I am not black. Why should I have to put in the work?
As a trans woman, you do not own your femininity to anybody.
Lily Tino doesn't owe you femininity, and nor does any other trans woman.
Learning that you don't have to pass to have a valid identity genuinely changed my life, because one of the biggest obstacles preventing me from coming out was knowing that I don't pass. I would look in the mirror and think, nobody's ever going to perceive me.
And of course, if you feel like a dog, you can be a dog. If you feel like a cat, you can be a cat. If you feel like you own a business, I guess you don't own a business because you actually don't own a business. It's only the thing that exists inside of your mind that you can play around with other people's reality. Because here's the thing, if I feel like I own a business, I actually don't own a business. I don't have an EIN. I don't have an LLC. I don't have a business structure. I don't have a business model. I don't have anything that indicates I actually have a business. But in my mind, I have a business. And so if I say I'm a woman, the material aspect of me saying I'm a woman is for you to validate that I am a woman. The moment you don't validate that I am a woman, I get seen as someone who has a mental illness, because people are like, what is wrong with you? Same thing as a business. The moment that I say I have a business and you say, where's your business? And I say, well, I think, therefore I am. You're like, okay, you're sick. If we decide saying you're black, we can clearly see that you're not black, means that you're black, and we have to now pretend that you're black. I think now we're getting to the core of the issue, because not only does this have to do with the whole transgender movement, now we're dealing with actual black history and a really sensitive community of people that I don't think you want to mess with. It's not going to work well. We're going to find that a lot of people actually don't want to be transracially black, because what does that mean? Being transracially black means you're adopting a certain kind of lifestyle that the people who you want to accept you are not going to accept you. en masse. En masse, they're not going to accept you. They're going to find it comedic. It's only a problem when it's gone too far. And this needs to go too far because it was a problem way from the beginning. Now, all of this is gonna come to a peak, to a high point where people are gonna say, all right, now even homosexuals, gays, gay people and lesbians, they're now saying we don't want anything to do with this anymore. Like, this is going a little too far. But can you imagine someone who says, I am attracted to minors as my identity? Minor attracted peoples? And now if you have a minor that says, I identify as a fully mature adult, what do you have? You have Pedialites.
As a Black woman. But then I learned something incredible and beautiful, which is that trans Black women do not owe you racial passing.
My goal is not to pass.
Passing doesn't fit into that equation as much anymore.
I feel Black, therefore I am Black. Therefore it is your responsibility to change your language, to affirm my identity.
Non-binary people don't owe you androgyny.
If you say you own a business, but you actually don't own a business, people are going to think, well, this person is a little bit crazy. But for some reason, if it's in your mind and doesn't have to be material, then other people have to change their language to fit your immaterial ideas. And so, of course, now it can apply to anything. But if it applies to some things, but it doesn't apply to other things, then we have a problem, because I identify, therefore I am cannot apply to I identify as a 5-foot female, because it doesn't actually apply. They're breaking reality. That is what they're doing. People think like, oh, just let them be type of thing. But when people begin to say I am a woman when they're a man, and they go into hospital systems, and the hospital systems are saying, oh, this person is saying they're a woman, let's treat them with the standards of women. Are they still at risk for breast cancer? Yes, but it's extremely low compared to an actual woman. Now we have to create a different category for them. Or do we? I don't think they do. I think they just mix them and jumble them together. Ovarian cancer? Is this person at risk for? No. Have they had a hysterectomy? No. But they're at 0% risk? Wow, we have to factor this into normal women. This is when it begins to break. That's what I mean by breaking reality, because you're breaking the systems that are there to serve the normal people. So you're literally breaking it, and the WNBA proves it. The MMA proved it whenever that guy hurt that lady in the ring. They're breaking reality. It's not just about just let them be. They're actually breaking reality behind closed doors. And the problem is, a lot of people don't see that the hospital systems and all of these things, they are running to fit these people into those systems. And before long, 10, 20, 30 years, it shows up to the public. And we're like, wait, what? Since when did women have 2% risk for breast cancer or ovarian cancer? But we actually see women having these symptoms at 30, 40, 50% rates, for example. And it'll be like, wait, why does your system or your standards say it's so low for us to have these problems? But in reality, we're having a lot more problems than your standards are showing. Something is broken. Yeah, it's already broken. That's what I'm saying. It's not going to be broken in 20 years. It's already broken. It's just how many more people are going to adopt this thing before it completely breaks everything. Soon enough, we're not going to be having Black people go to Black schools anymore. It's going to be all white people going to Black schools, or it's going to be all Black people going to white schools. Like, they're breaking reality. And the people who are saying it's fine, it's like, just let them be, are not understanding. They don't want to understand how much of a crap show this actually is when you boil it down to what are we doing, why are we doing it, and is anyone benefiting off of it? Because it's breaking reality, and eventually it's going to break everything that we see as normal. It's not going to create a new normal, because there is no normalcy in this. That's the problem. There is no standardization. There's just voidness. That's the problem with this.
But also, trans women don't owe you femininity. Trans men don't owe you masculinity.
My pale skin doesn't make me less Black. My straight hair doesn't make me less Black. My ancestry does not make me less Black. And my decision regarding racial transition procedures is between me and my doctor, who currently refuses to perform them. And that's a whole nother conversation.
Misgendering people you don't like is still transphobia, by the way. Yes, even if you are trans, you're insane.
About medical trans racism.
I owe nobody my femininity.
Medical trans racism? Like I said, they're breaking things.
There's more than one way to be a woman.
Being black is not about biology. It's just about how you feel, and it means something different to different people. There is no definition of black.
You don't need to look trans.
Also, being black is not biology. You're not biologically black. It's not a thing. Black is not an ethnicity. Black is not an identifier. Like if you call Jamaican black and you call a West African black, it's like, yeah, ancestrally they're related, but like they're not really the same. Or even if you call a mixed person in the United States black and then you call a West African black, those aren't technically the same ethnicity. They're different. So even black doesn't fit into, and you can't have an identity of black. That's another reason why this is so funny, because black is not an identity. It's a categorization, but I don't identify as, oh, look at me, I'm black. I am African American, or I am African American who comes from West Africa. That's black is not an ethnicity, so to say.
No, you don't need to pass. You don't owe anyone a single ounce of explanation for who you are. You're valid.
Stay black, stay proud, and namaste.
Wait. I thought she was trans black and trans Asian. And namaste? But I will say, this is great. I think she should continue. I think we need this. Because we need to see how insane this movement is. And the people who are jumping on board are just as insane. The reality that we have created and built and are trying to improve on, these people are literally jumping on that train and destroying the compartments that allowed these things to move as well as they have. Look, the medical field for women is improving. I'm speaking to how women are treated. The treatment of women are generally getting better. Doctors are starting to understand better how to treat women. Heck, doctors are better understanding how to treat black women, because a lot of the standardizations in the past did not include black women because they weren't creating hospital systems for black women. It wasn't part of their agenda, but now it is. And then now you have trans women jumping onto that bandwagon and completely destroying everything from the inside out. They're skewing standardizations. And the problem is you'll say, well, they could just put trans women in a different bucket in medical industries. But remember, those people in those industries also acquiesce to these trans people movement things. So the people on the inside, they don't want to be transphobic. So they're not going to label them as trans people and put them in a different bucket. They just put them all in one bucket, and it causes a lot of confusion. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but let me know if you guys have seen this going around, because this is great. I think these are the type of things that make us have the hard conversations that, frankly, people just kind of want to forget until things are way too broken and they're like, oh, what happened? You happened. You're the problem. All the normal people who aren't opposing this, they are the problem. These trans people, they aren't necessarily the problem. They have a problem, but they aren't the problem. It's the normalization of it. That's the problem. If you guys got anything out of this, let me know. Drop your thoughts below. Subscribe, like the video, and I'll catch you later. Peace.